Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. And this is Bonnie.
Hello.
And she's taking tea with Catherine. And Bonnie is visiting from out of town for a little bit. And we are drinking the same tea today. We are drinking elderberry tea from McNulty.
It's delicious. It's very red.
It is red, and it's a nice herbal tea, you know. It's allergy season. It's nice to have a little bit of immune support because, yes, it is. Anyway, so Bonnie's been visiting for a little bit, and we've done all the things that we normally do, which is like take tea,
Eat a lot.
eat a lot, walk a lot, and of course go to bookshops. Bonnie is a big reader, just like I am, and she's also a big bookshop haunter, like I am as well, I would say.
More of a library haunter.
Yes.
I don't know. I more go to the library than bookshops, but I do love a good bookshop.
Exactly. And where there's books, there is Bonnie. Just like, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I thought instead of talking about my reading and my books and stuff today, I'll talk about Bonnie's books.
Yeah.
And we went to 2 bookshops this week. I mean, we might have gone to other bookshops, but we bought things at 2 different bookshops. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to ask Bonnie what kind of books she likes to read, and then maybe talk a little bit about the books that she bought and the places that she bought them from. So Bonnie, take it away.
Okay. Well, mostly I like, classics, Victorian classics or classics set in the Victorian era or written in the Victorian era, not necessarily from Great Britain, but that time period I like a lot of. I like modern classics. I like mysteries, some middle grade, and some nonfiction, kind of like similar to you, like history and biography is probably my favorite nonfiction, and occasional nature writing or memoir, things like that. But yeah, I guess that would sum it up.
That sums it up pretty well. Did you say you read mysteries as well, or?
I sure did.
Yeah, I wasn't paying
Where's
attention.
the hat?
Yeah, sadly the hat isn't here, but Bonnie's been reading a lot of Agatha Christie lately.
I love Agatha Christie.
Probably more than I've been, which is a shame because I've been trying.
She's probably my favorite mystery writer, and then Dorothy Sayers is definitely up there, and
yeah. So we have a lot of reading in common,
yeah,
which is fun, which makes it even more fun to go shopping together. Although sometimes it's a little hard because one of us will find a book that the other one wants, like Trollope or Agatha Christie. Just side point, yesterday we went to a park that had a little free library, and we were looking through it, and she was like, "Oh, there's nothing here," and I looked right in front of me, there was a Poirot book, and I just grabbed it, and it was like, how did you not see it? But in a bookshop, it's like we don't fight, but it's kind of like, well, which one of us should get this one?
Yeah.
And
thankfully you have a lot more books than me, so often you'll let me get it because you're like, oh, I have that one already. I'm like,
yeah, I have that one, or you know what, I probably won't get to that one for a long time, and you will. So it works out.
And this is not a haul from the bookshops this week, but Catherine gifted me, she had an extra copy of The Age of Innocence by Edith. Oh, sorry, Catherine, covered your face. I'm not used to you being on YouTube. But anyway, The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. And I've been meaning to read this forever, and so now I have my own copy. Thank you very much, Catherine.
I like that copy too. That's what I read it from. It was that was a pretty good book, so I think you'll enjoy it. Especially, she doesn't live in New York anymore. It's kind of nice to go back to old New York a little bit.
Yeah, great.
Or England. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah. So yes, so where did you go?
Okay, so
Bonnie's Hall.
Okay, so first we went to BookOff because I don't remember when I lived in New York ever going inside BookOff. Maybe I did, but I couldn't remember it, and Catherine's always hauling books for $1 there. It was nice. It was a little warm in there, so I think it took away from our enjoyment just a tad, but overall we still had a great time. But I only got one book at BookOff, and it wasn't $1, but it was very reasonably priced, and it was this lovely pristine, you're going to hear me say pristine a lot, this pristine edition of The Odd Women by George Gissing,
which I've read in.
Yeah, it's a Oxford World Classic, and it's, it looks like it's been barely read, which I love, and I've heard great things about this during Booktober and been wanting to read it.
Oh yeah, Bonnie definitely participates in Booktober.
Oh yeah,
in her own way.
Yeah, I mean, so this, I just thought it was a book that I definitely want to read, and it was a great price and in great condition. So I'm looking forward to reading this, if not sooner, then definitely by October. But I always have, I think I pretty much every month have a Victorian book in rotation.
Oh yeah,
pretty
even
much
more than I do, and I love Victorian books. So yeah.
So then the next place we went where I bought anything there, I went 1, 2, 3, 5 books. Was a little more successful as far as book shopping, and that was the Bookseller.
Yeah,
which is Catherine's mentioned it before. It's in a library on the east side of Manhattan, Upper East Side, where they have in the cellar. They have all these great books, and their prices are fantastic. They're used books, but in great condition, and a huge amount of classics and mysteries. It was great. So another pristine. That's my book.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, I don't know. I love to find a used book in pristine condition. It's awesome. So this is a classic, an American classic that I had never heard of before.
Me neither.
Called Ramona.
Nothing to do with Beverly Cleary.
Yeah, Helen Hunt Jackson. It's a Signet classic. It looks barely read. Just. So basically, it was written in the mid 1800s, set in old California, and it has to do with, I think there's some like race issues between the white people and the native people. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know, but it looked really interesting. I did a quick search online, Google and Goodreads, and it seemed like it got pretty good ratings.
I'm curious about that too. If anyone has heard of this book or read it, just let us know in the comments that what you thought about it.
Yeah.
Just quite curious.
Yeah. And then my favorite author, I do think my favorite author of all time is Anthony Trollope. And I was able to find 2 Trollopes. I think maybe you pointed them out, at least one of them out to me. So this is one I'd never heard of. He was very prolific in his writing. Tales of All Countries, second series. So I don't know where the first series is, but it's a bunch of short stories by Trollope. And even a Trollope that I don't like that much, I still enjoy. So I was like, this is going to be a win anyway. Even if I'm not much of a short story reader. It's not my first inclination. But if it's an author I really like, I'll read their short stories anyway.
And I think he could pull it off. Like Ella Montgomery was one of our favorite writers when we were kids, probably still now. And she wrote some we had some short story collections from her, and they were some of the few that I enjoyed. So I think that logic definitely, rings true.
Yeah, I think I'll really enjoy it. Freddie's here. Oh.
Yeah.
Freddie's such a good boy.
Freddie has to be, but Freddie is.
Yes, Freddie, I love you too.
Part of the gang.
Okay, but all right.
Come here, Freddie.
We'll work around him.
Come here, Freddie.
Okay, so this other, this is one I had heard of by Trollope. Taking Tea with Catherine and Freddie and Bonnie. Okay, this is what's it called? An Old Man's Love by Anthony Trollope. I think it's his last complete novel. Oh. Not quite in pristine condition, but pretty good. Yeah. It's in very good condition.
Pre-pristine.
And it's also another, this is a world's class. Is this Oxford? Yeah, right? Yeah, it's Oxford World's Classic.
Yeah, it's different than the other type. I don't know why. But I have quite a few Trollopes and Dickens in that format, and it's a pretty good one. Yeah, and it's less than 300 pages, so I'll probably fly through it pretty quickly. I love Trollope. I think those are actually better shaped than the other one, the other edition.
Oh,
those
really?
penguin ones that you had, the orange one. They're good, but they tend to sometimes fall apart. Yeah, a little bit, but still fantastic. I mean,
they were very, very inexpensive, so it was great. So I'm looking forward to reading those 2 Trollopes.
Yes.
Okay, and then getting to a little slight more modern, and I think these were written mostly in the 1950s. And this author is very hard for me to find.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen this in the bookstores.
I found her in my libraries, my local libraries, but I never find her in a bookstore. And it's Miss Reed.
Yeah. And
this is, I believe, the first in one of her series. And this Miss Reed, The Market Square, and I think it's a Caxley series. I could be wrong. The exact series. Right now I'm reading the Fairacre series. And I'm loving it. It's so, if you like cozy English countryside slice of life type,
I do.
Books, then Miss Reed is, I keep trying to get, I know I
haven't read it yet.
Her huge TBR, I understand. But I do want read some Miss Reed. It's wonderful. It's just such cozy books, and they're realistic, I feel, but and some sad, but mostly hopeful, and just really great.
Yeah. Well, you've talked me into it.
Yeah, well, anyway, so that was fun to find because it's really, I have not been able to find any misread in any bookstores yet. That was my first.
The lady in the checkout, when she checked us out, cash only, FYI, she said she had some misread at home.
She said she would set them aside for me, but I'm like, oh, I don't live in New York City.
I know.
I was like, oh, can you mail them to
I
me?
do.
I know. I know. Well, Catherine, maybe.
You never know.
Okay, and so the last book, very pristine.
Oh yeah, extreme
Take a shot
pristine.
every time I say pristine, right? No, okay.
Yeah, of your tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of your tea. So this was great. I'm so happy to find this. The Betsy Tacy Treasury.
It's a treasury.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Because I enjoyed the Emily of Deep Valley. I was thinking about getting into it, so I was kind of like, no, I want that now, but. No,
yeah, by Maud Hart. This was one I think you looked at and were kind of like, oh, I wish I would have seen that first, maybe.
That was.
A little bit.
But I got over it because you'll
know.
see in a future haul. I got plenty of books of my own. You don't need to.
Yeah, I know. But so yeah, it's got Betsy Tacy and Tib. Betsy and Tacy go over the big hill, and Betsy and Tacy go downtown. So I believe I think I read all of these growing up. It's hard to remember all that I read growing up, but recently I've been rereading this, and I read Betsy Tacy and Tib. So I'm up to Betsy and Tacy go over the big hill.
Ah.
So it'll be great to be able to read the next two in the series
before you're over the hill.
I kind of. Anyway.
Sisters.
And, yeah. And then also have this copy, which is so, oh my goodness, it's like,
it's
you
pristine.
Know, it smells good and it just,
it looks just so inviting.
Oh my goodness, so great. This was like, I got really thrilled by this because I just wasn't expecting to find such a great edition.
I was in the other end of the store and I was like looking at, I don't know, mysteries at that point. She comes up to me, she's like, It was fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
let's take some tea right now.
She's taking tea. And so that was Bonnie's haul. I thought it was a fantastic haul. I think it was a very successful, especially considering she didn't carry a big amount of luggage. So I think it's just enough to be able to schlep home, you know?
Yeah.
And, so it was balanced, but it was fun, you know?
It was so great.
Good, excellent haul. To me.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think in the comments. But, so, speaking of commenting, I don't know. Let's comment on what Bonnie is reading right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I only brought one book with me.
Because she knew she was going to get some books.
Yeah. And it was a small one because I was like, well, I need to make room for any books I haul.
Or if not, of course, she could have just dove into my collection.
True, yes. But again, going back to Trollope, it's one of these really cute little...
Oh.
It's I love this. And it's I don't know if you can... The Belton Estate by Anthony Trollope. And I'm almost done with it. I should be finishing it any day, either today or tomorrow. I think I'll finish it. I really am enjoying it. What is it about? It's about an estate, entailed to someone.
Called the Belton Estate.
And then, there's some kind of slightly love triangle, I guess you could say. It's just great. The characters, I love Trollope's characters. He really gets into people's heads and why they do things, and nobody usually is too perfect or too evil. You have your bad guys and good guys, but they're not caricatures. I feel like they're real people. So I really like Trollope.
Any funny names in there? You have to give examples.
Not really. I think not that because sometimes they are, but
yeah, some of his, what was it, the Barchester series had some really funny names. I forgot what they are now, but I remember just laughing just reading that. I think he was trying to do that. I think he was trying to be funny, but not corny. I don't know.
Yeah, right. The late no, but yeah, just being funny. I like his humor very much, and the lady another lady who worked at the bookshop in the bookseller, she was not crazy, but it wasn't. That's her opinion. She just is not really into Trollope, and I was like, oh, it's okay. Everyone's got their opinion, but I'm like, he's my favorite author.
I don't know too many people who read Trollope who say they're not crazy about him. I'm sure they exist, but it's
all right. Yeah.
Usually, sometimes when people start the Warden first, they're a little like, okay, that was okay. I loved it, but I understand how that could be a little slow going for some people.
Right.
But most of the time when people read Trollope, it's like wow, I didn't realize, I read Dickens and didn't realize that there was someone such as Trollope out there. So,
right.
Yeah, and because Bonnie read tons of Dickens first, right?
Oh yeah, I read Dickens before Trollope. I haven't completed all of his novels. I'm almost there, but And I'm currently reading, I didn't bring it with me, but I'm currently reading Nicholas Nickleby, more than halfway through. And I'm really enjoying it. But it's funny, when I'm reading side by side, I'm like, oh, I definitely like Trollope better. But I like Dickens, and sometimes in Nicholas Nickleby in the beginning, there was something I literally laughed out loud about. I do like his humor, but I feel like sometimes the characters are so black or white and so caricaturish.
Yeah,
that it's
evil.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's not. I really, he's still one of my top authors that I like, but I don't know why we always tend to compare the two, and I don't know if they meant to be compared, but they were somewhat contemporary. So
I guess they were prolific male writers of a sort, but and they've lasted. They've made it through. A lot of people have heard of them, especially Dickens, but still.
Yeah, most people outside of BookTube world, in my opinion, I don't know too much about Trollope.
I know
that I've come across, whereas most people do know that I've talked to outside of BookTube world do know about Dickens.
So that's heard of him.
That's why I think I always like to talk up Trollope, because I'm like, he's so good, and why is he not as well known?
It's fantastic.
But it's okay. It's just an opinion,
But that book is still very appealing to me. You ever look at some of those paintings of like a woman reading, like a Victorian painting, whatever? That kind of looks like it would be like she'd hold it in front of her, and read it or whatever. And it's portable, so
it's great. Yeah, it's very lightweight, easy to put in my bag. It's just nice.
So we've been having a good trip, and I think lots of good reading. And before we go, I forgot to ask you this question. What kind of tea do you like?
What kind of tea do I like? Oh my goodness. Well,
just an example.
Okay, I'm more of a coffee drinker, but I love tea. I like black tea, green tea, but what I drink the most of is probably herbal infusions, and rooibos is a big one that I love.
Bonnie loves rooibos.
I love rooibos.
Big fan of rooibos.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. That's probably up there in my favorites.
But what do we have today?
What did we have today? Right now?
No, before.
Oh, hello.
It's been a couple hours. You forget.
Yeah. We've been eating and drinking a lot. Not drinking, but with bubble tea. I love bubble tea. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a big boba.
Yeah.
Person.
It's funny because I hadn't done a lot of boba, because of just coming out of winter. So even though I will drink it in the cold weather, but kind of a little slower. But
now it's all
today we had some boba from a place called Coco, which is a chain in the Northeast. I think mostly New York and New Jersey. Really great.
They're pretty good, I think. Yeah.
Very sweet, but it's more like a dessert than a.
Yeah, but they let you do half sugar, so you don't have to overdo it.
And this was great with this hibiscus.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I like it. Healthy and delicious. They don't need me to advertise for them, but so we've had a good trip, and the trip is not over, so probably next time you'll be seeing me by lonesome, but wah, wah.
No, but this is fun.
But it's been really fun, and I'm glad we were able to do this together. So until next time, this is Catherine.
This is Bonnie.
And what are you doing?
Taking tea with Catherine.
Yeah. Have a lovely tea
and book-filled day.